Hi, I'm Amy Pollitt. I'm a certified practicing speech pathologist in beautiful Newcastle and the Lake Macquarie and Hunter region. I see children for all sorts of speech and language problems, but mainly speech, language, literacy, and social challenges. I've created this short little video for parents, teachers, and educators to learn more about speech and language milestones and to understand what it means to be school ready from a speech and language perspective. Starting school can be such an anxious time, and I hope that this short little video can either put your mind at ease or spring you into action if you have concerns about your child's speech or language development. So, parents, if you're keen to book your little one in to see me, I work at Hunter ENT at Broadmeadow on Mondays, and I'm mobile on the other days, so I can see your little one at preschool, home, or school. So, if you want to check me out, check out Dragonfly Speech, and you can find all my contact details there. Educators, this one's for you. The Ripple Project Australia is an education platform for early educators and teachers, all about speech and language milestones. We get right into the nitty gritty of things and how to help students with speech and language problems in your classroom or early education centre. So get onto it, Ripple Project Australia. So, school ready, what does that actually mean? There's a huge range of what's considered normal when children are starting school. Kids are starting from very different places, very different backgrounds, very different upbringings, and their point of start can be based on a whole heap of different factors. However, with speech and language, it's consistent. We've got the same expectations across the board, no matter what the child's upbringing has been or their previous, like if they've been to daycare, if they've been to preschool. It shouldn't matter. Children should all be at this stage. And if they're not, then they're going to need some speech pathology to help them along. So, what do we want our kids to be able to do from a communication perspective when they start school? Well, we want them to be able to speak clearly. We want them to be able to say all of their speech sounds correctly. We want them to be able to cope with the instructions in the classroom. And this can get pretty complex pretty quickly. Most classrooms are up to a 4-step instruction straight away. We want children to be able to make friends and express themselves. And this might be expressing themselves in play, in friendships, or even when they've hurt themselves. And we want them to be able to answer questions. So there's a lot of things to consider when we're thinking about school readiness for communication. All right, so all of these sounds that are in yellow are all of the sounds that we expect children to have by the age of 5. Now, children can have speech sound errors as they're growing up. That's okay, but they should have all been resolved by 5. Now, one of the most common things that we see as speech pathologists of children starting school and they're 5 is that they can't say their R's. So instead of saying red, they might say wed, or instead of rabbit, they say wabbit, things like that. Ewa, they might not be able to say their L's as well. This is super, super common, but children will not grow out of it by the time they're 5. My child is in year 6 at the moment, and so many of his friends cannot say their R's. It drives me crazy because I know it could have been fixed, but if we leave it, it won't resolve. They will not grow out of it. And also, it's really important to know that if your child still can't say any of these sounds here, so looking at like for lollipop, if they say yollipop or yayin or wyan, they should have grown out of that by 4 years. Same with chips, if they can't say their ch sound and they're saying t instead, tips, things like that. They should have grown out of all of these by now. It's really important because when children start kindy, we want them to have a really good foundation to start their literacy journey. If children have a speech sound error or a speech sound disorder, they're already behind the 8 ball with it. So it's really hard for them to understand the different sounds and letter correspondence that they're learning. And it makes sense, right? Because if they can't say it, they're not going to be able to write it. If they can't say it, they're not necessarily going to be able to hear it or hear the difference. So very important. If your child cannot say any of these speech sounds, then you need to see a speech therapist. The only speech sound that's still left is this 6 years TH sound voiceless. So that's considered bath, the TH at the end of bath, or the TH, the voice TH like this or that. Again, they should be getting that by 5 years. So if they haven't got that by 5 years, you can also bring them to a speech pathologist. The easiest way to remember is that we expect children that are 5 years to be understood 100% of the time. So when kids are little, they might make some really cute speech sound errors, and it's so cute. But by the time they're 5, we really should be helping them along, and they should have grown out of them. At this age, they will not grow out of their speech errors. So you really need to bring them along to a speech pathologist if you can't understand them or if they've got persistent errors on particular sounds. So a 5-year-old's language should be clear and easily understood again. They should be able to speak in fully formed sentences, and they should be using the correct words in the correct order by now. You'll start to hear children using past tense correctly as well. So yesterday I went to the shop instead of yesterday I goed to the shop. Things like I fell over compared to I falled over. By 5, our children should be able to answer all of our WH type of questions. They should be able to sequence their answers. Like if I were to ask a child, how do you brush your teeth? What's the first thing you need to do? They should be able to sequence those answers really well. When we think about a child's language to be school ready, we really want them to be able to follow complex instructions. They need to understand concepts like before and after. So before you get your yellow pencil, I need you to get out your literacy books. They need to understand concepts like under, behind, on, and we want them to be able to cope with the changes in the classroom environment as well. So lots to take in language-wise. If you find your child is struggling with instructions at home, so if you say, can you get your bag and put your shoes in it and bring it to the front, and they can't do that 3-step instruction, then it might be time to get them screened by a speech pathologist. So just to sum up, why would you refer your child to see a speech pathologist? Well, we want to see them if you can't understand them. We should be able to understand them 100% of the time. If they've got any unclear speech sounds, so if they're still saying wed instead of red, or they're still saying wabbit, or they're still saying yian for lion or wyan, we want to see them. If they're not following instructions, or they're really struggling with conversations, or even following along with TV shows, we also want to see them. We also want to see them if their sentences are muddled and they're really starting to have difficulty with putting their words in the right spot in their sentences. Remember, if in doubt, bring them along and we can either put your mind at ease or get started with some therapy. So that's it from me as far as speech and language milestones for 5-year-olds and being school ready. Don't forget that you can check more training videos out at the Ripple Project.au, or you can book in to see me at Dragonfly Speech Pathology. I look forward to working with you soon. Bye.